Okay, the watch list for November 5th, which would be Thursday this week. Start with DDD, massive volume today, breaking out above about a week's worth of trading, maybe a week and a half's worth of trading. Gave some back, but possible red to green on that one tomorrow. That one very, very strong this morning. WGBS, kind of a sleeper play. Some of the guys in chat were watching this one near the end of the day, and it caught my attention. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have found this. But you see these big spikes back here. And big volume here in this thing. Like here was up to 340, here was up to 260. Then you get a gap down, I think on a secondary. I could be wrong. And then it's just been sideways ever since between 80 and a buck. Well, a little bit of a volume pop today, and it went to $1.04. So that's kind of interesting over $1.04. I'm absolutely not in love with this one, but it makes great moves because it's a low flow stock at times. And so coming out of this kind of consolidation might surprise us. So I want to have that one on a chart. EMES, really strong day today, gave some of it back. Let's go to 15-minute candles so you can see there's a big move yesterday. Today gaps down and then just rips and then pulls back for the final hour and a half or 2 hours. Certainly worth watching for. Man, I mean, they got excited buying that one. So if you get any kind of an intraday setup, that one, if you're ready to go, could be lucrative in a very short period of time. VSCP. I kind of like to see this come down to the 8-day moving average, but you do kind of have a spinning top or doji, whatever they call this, where it closed slightly above, but basically right at its open. So it might be ready to bounce as quickly as tomorrow. I mean, it gapped up 4 sessions ago, went all the way to 650. Now it's down to 385. If that does turn up on an intraday basis, you might get some short covering, and again, might get a really nice, pretty quick trade. All right, EFOI. My best trade this morning, called it as a gap play, and I'll show you that in a second. But after it triggered as a gap play, I said I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing hit 20 today. It almost makes me look smart. Look at that. It went right to 20 by the end of the day. Nice volume and closed at its highs. The reason it had my attention because it was gapping up on earnings, and it had this move back here from 10 to almost 30. And then yesterday before earnings, sells off. So then when earnings came out and it was gapping up, thought you might have some shorts in trouble. Couple that with the fact that it's a low float stock. And this is what it looked like this morning. Let me go to 2-minute candles just to show you how I played the gap. I'm excuse me. I'm not a big fan of guessing on a gap play. All right. So a lot of people might look at this and say, 2-minute candles here. They might say, well, as soon as this gets back, it triggers on a 2-minute buy setup, it gets back through 17. I'm going long in my stops here. That's a much lower, I don't want to say lower risk, but it's a tighter trigger and stop probably than the way I played it. Well, that's not true either because I use an arbitrary 30-cent stop. If the chart isn't giving me a logical stop on a gap play, I'll use an arbitrary 30-cent stop. So I'll adjust my position size accordingly. So when this starts to come up, I told everybody 1750. If it gets back to the open, it's probably going to rip. And I actually got filled at 1748 right here. And man, this is a 2-minute candle, so within about a minute, I was up a buck. And I literally made $1,600 in 4 minutes. Didn't really need to trade the rest of the day, but ended up getting adding to that with some other trades. But it was a really nice day. This is what one example of what we try to do on gap plays. OPXA was another. OPXA. One of our members pointed this out. We had this on Gap Watch, just so you know. It wasn't just random. Had it on Gap Watch, and one of our members escaped me for a minute. I think Anthony S.A. Anthony posted this with, hey, this is getting right back to the high of the day. And he put it out in time so I could spread it to the chat room, jump on the mic and say, hey, guys, OPXA over 340 might pop. Right? That's a gap play, just to break the high of the day. And look at that. From 341 to 422, massive percentage gain, and that only took about 15 minutes. So a big hats off to Anthony S.A. because he gave a lot of people in the chat room a nice profit today just by that heads up, and I was able to pass it along over the microphone. So let's see, that was EFOI closed at its highs, going back to that. So it just goes back on watch tomorrow for a potential red to green or something like that. I don't ever want to chase, but you never know. This might open at 19 tomorrow, trade in a narrow range for a while, then break to the upside. So I'll be watching in that light. But if it gaps up tomorrow, it's less interesting to me. but I'm going to have it on a chart. And it really, something like that should be on a chart for the next week going forward. We might get 3 or 4 good trades out of that thing. All right, YRCW, I had on Bounce Watch today. I said after a gap up, sometimes they go into a range. Well, today it actually got down to almost the 20-day. I didn't have any kind of trade or setup in it, but I'm just going to put it back on Bounce Watch. And what I'd like to see is, have the thing trade in a defined range for a couple hours and then a breakout to the upside. So if that happens, I'll call a long in it. But if not, probably just won't trade it. Gene, Gene, huge pop today. Gave some of it back. I don't have a trigger price or anything. It's another one that I'm going to watch trade, see if we can get a defined range and then an upside break, later in the morning or the afternoon. If you're on these and you have them on a chart, and a lot of you have seen my monitor setups, I've got 6 22-inch monitors, which enables me to watch a whole bunch of stuff at once. So hopefully I can catch these, while they're setting up and then give the trade idea. And that's a lot of it is preparation. Having them on charts, having them on your trading platform already filled out, order forms ready to go, one click away from trading any of them at any moment. So, a lot of people don't take the time to prepare and get all set up and get everything ready. So your trades are just a split second away if one manifests. Preparation is key if you're going to be a day trader. All right. BIOS, just like the others, a nice pop today, gave some of its, some of its move back, but a possible trade tomorrow, just like the others I just said. And MEIP, this one's kind of interesting too. Really nice volume today, and certainly is, lower this a little bit, certainly is kind of near breakout territory here. If it gets up to 215, 217, might just come up and revisit these highs of 244. Having said that, it's extended in the short term. So again, I want to see a defined early range, and if you pan out, you can see there's a gap above there. So this one could move. I mean, it could really get some legs. So it's worth having on watch. And then a couple of honorable mentions. Keep your eyes on XOMA. I'd like to see that come in another day. This thing went from pretty much 1 to 2 in about a week. I'd like to see it pull in one more day and then put that one on your bounce watch list. And VNSO, another honorable mention, had this huge move from $1.20 to $3.20. Gap down today and closed near its lows. So certainly not in love with it, but again, could be one that if you have on a chart, it might give a setup and a nice trade. It's one of my least favorites from the list I just gave you. But all right, that's the list I'm starting with. Hopefully we'll find some nice gappers like OPXA, EFOI today. Also lumber liquidators was a really nice gap play for us as well. So all right, I'm done babbling. We will put out another video tomorrow night. Have a good night.